Welcome to Grab the Remote, our TV review series. I'm your host, Jared, and today we'll be talking about Fallout Season 2, Episode 1. Fallout is a post-apocalyptic video game from the Bethesda Studios. I played Fallout 3 and 4. I don't know everything about Fallout, but I am a fan of the series, and I love Season 1, so I decided I should definitely review Season 2. So looks like it's going to be an action-packed adventure. So let's get right into it. Now, overall, the plot of this episode, it just picks right up where Season 1 left off. We find Lucy and the Ghoul, known as Cooper Howard, on the trail of Hank, Lucy's father, making their way through the desert towards Vegas. It kicks off with a fun little action scene. Nothing flashy, but credit to the production team because it looks straight out of the video game. You even get the big dinosaur, which Lucy hides in, and Fallout fans will recognize this as Boone's Lookout. It's one of the first side quests in the video game, and I was just a little disappointed that they didn't have a Boone cameo. I thought that would be nice, but I wonder if they will have any of the companion cameos because there are a lot of companions in this game, and it's a big part of the game. It's little touches like that, though, that make the show feel authentic, and of course, the soundtrack doesn't disappoint. Playing Big Iron by Marty Robbins during this scene is just a cherry on top, especially for me because that was one of my favorite songs in the game. Since this is the first episode of the season, the plot moves at a slow burn pace, but it's clear that Lucy and the Ghoul are hot on Hank's trail. He escaped with the cold fusion tech and the answers our main characters have been searching for, setting up the stakes for the season without revealing too much soon. So let's talk about one of the characters in the episode. Obviously, we have Lucy and the Ghoul, but there's another character who isn't fully in the show yet, Robert House. He appears briefly in a pivotal flashback through Cooper's perspective, and the stakes are made chillingly clear. So Cooper has a talk with Moldaver, who reveals that House is building a privately owned missile system in Las Vegas. Now, in the Fallout New Vegas video game, we're led to believe that this system is what prevented Vegas from being destroyed during the Great War, with all but 11 warheads safely deactivated. But in the show, Moldaver presents a far more sinister interpretation. The missile system could allow House to press the button himself, triggering total nuclear annihilation. And just keep in mind that this, is a flashback. It's in the past. So Moldaver urges Cooper to stop House before the world burns. When Cooper asks, "Are you asking me to spy on the wealthiest man in America?" Moldaver's response is chilling. Not spy, but with clear implication of murder. It's also worth mentioning that Cooper's wife is the one accused of selling the cold fusion resource to Robert House, which has to be a conflict for him. Even in this brief scene, the episode establishes House as the man behind the wasteland's chaos and sets up a tense question for the season. When will he be fully revealed, and what deadly secrets will come with him? So let's look at some of the key themes for this episode. Power and control, a big one. You have the cold fusion tech, Vault-Tec secrets, and Robert House's missile system all revolve around who has ultimate control in a post-apocalyptic world. And then you have Hank, who's Lucy's father, and he's on the run. He was a Vault-Tec scientist. You have Robert House himself, and you have the Vault-Tec plants, which were, higher ups that were cryogenically frozen and then thawed out and put back into the, Vault societies to basically be the shot callers. They each represent different approaches, manipulating others, hoarding resources, or outright holding destructive power. But the theme here is not just survival, but dominance. Who rules the wasteland and by what means? You also have moral ambiguity as a theme in this episode. Characters are forced to make hard choices without clear right or wrong answers. Cooper is asked to potentially kill House to prevent nuclear disaster. Is that justice or is it murder? Lucy is hunting her father. Does her pursuit of answers justify confrontation or betrayal? Fallout has always thrived on these morally gray dilemmas, and this episode reinforces that. Another theme is legacy and consequences. So you have Vault-Tec's experiments and House's pre-war actions that continue to shape the present. The past literally controls the future. You have frozen vault residents, preserved tech, and pre-war decisions that dictate what the wasteland looks like now. This episode asks implicitly, can the world escape the mistakes of the past, or is it doomed to repeat them? Hopefully throughout the season we'll get these answers. And lastly, you also have this like slow burn tension and impending chaos. Like, even though not a lot happened in this episode, there was a lot of subtlety that went on, and you could just feel like, they're gearing up for a real explosive season. And this episode conveys an uneasy calm, signaling the chaos that is coming, and everyone is they're just waiting for that spark. So let's move on to the most memorable scenes of this episode. Obviously the dinosaur scene is, a very big highlight in the show. And then, the diner scene that goes on, it underlies the moral ambiguity theme and sets up the stakes for the season. But another great scene from the show was when Hank got to the Vault-Tec building. He's just embodying what a Vault-Tec worker would look like. He has the outfit on. He's got the Pip Boy on his arm, and, he's looking like that. But we know of his relationship with Robert House and how that's going to go. So, and lastly, there's also a scene, it's a flashback, and there's a radio station playing, and on the station, the host is talking about some words that came directly from Robert House. And he was saying, it's not if the world will end, but who will push the button. And that's just a chilling reminder of House's presence and foreshadowing the central threat. So I want to look at some predictions now. And, it's very clear that Hank and Robert have some sort of alliance. When Hank arrives at the Vault-Tec building, it feels like he's already communicating with House. And while their exact plan isn't revealed, it's clear that they're working together and working towards something big. Now, how far they'll get, that has remained to be seen, but it's definitely the driving force for this season. And I also think that Cooper's wife is still alive. Now, the daughter, I don't know, but something's telling me that the wife is still alive, and she's more than likely with Robert House. But we'll see how that unfolds. Overall, I think that this was a great episode. For as far as a score, I'll probably give it an 8 out of 10. I thought that there would have been a little bit more explosive action considering how crazy the first season was, but it was still a great episode, one that I definitely will probably end up rewatching, and I'm definitely looking forward to the next episode. Let me know what you guys thought of episode 1, any thoughts or opinions on the review. Be sure to like, subscribe, and comment, and I'll see you next week for episode 2.